What is going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a brand new video on Bitcoin, and I want to start this video off with something to remind people that every time Bitcoin goes down in price, has a correction or anything, that people always go to say it's dead, it's done, and we're done with it. And this video is from CNBC's Fast Money. They were talking about Bitcoin in 2018 and decided that because of this fall, that was when Bitcoin went into the bear market and fell from like 20,000. And a lot of people were calling for Bitcoin to be dead once again for the 900th time.
All this terrible price action in crypto has given us pause and forced us to ask a tough question. Should we continue to cover Bitcoin? And the answer is sadly no. So today we're having a funeral for Bitcoin. It was fun while it lasted, so many memories, so many friends. There was Tom Lee and his calls for 20,000 by year end. There was Novogratz and his calls for 40,000. And there was Ripple. I think we'll miss you most of all, Brad Garlinghouse. And then there were the characters. Bitcoin Jesus, the Oracle of Bitcoin, all 500 of the Ethereum co-founders, and who could forget the Coinbase screen grab and mindless trolling on Twitter, and of course our Bitcoin bug.
So there is always a want to hate on Bitcoin. People don't want to see it succeed, especially if they weren't in it and they knew about Bitcoin at a lower price, and they just want people to lose money because they didn't make any. So every time that happens, people want to go ahead and say Bitcoin's done when it never really is. But moving on from that, the price action for Bitcoin is still hovering at this 49,000 level. This line right here is $49,237, and you see we've struggled to stay above it. This got rejected almost immediately after going up. Then we just couldn't stay above it for long, but we're not getting big drawdowns, so maybe it's just a matter of time before flipping this into support, and from there, having it go just rally very quickly to $58,000 level, and then from there it's just price discovery once again. So going from 65,000 here, and once we break that and get to new all-time highs, we're back in price discovery mode. But it is interesting to kind of see that we've stayed in this ascending channel almost perfectly, well, literally perfectly, since July 20th. So it's been over a month of being in this channel, and you see we rallied up and got rejected off the top line here, bounced off the bottom line, did the same thing, bounced off the bottom line here. At some point there'll be a break in this. I don't think this is just going to continue forever. Obviously that wouldn't make sense, but I do think it's more than likely going to break to the upside rather than the downside. So right now we've got short-term price is 49,000, get above that, and then once we get into this zone, I think it can rally up and break out of this, and maybe fall back in, but break out and then stay going near all-time highs, and at the end of the year eventually a six-figure Bitcoin. And in the cycle we're in right now, people have the Bitcoin's price revival sparks the double top speculation for crypto community, expects another BTC price high. So this is basically talking about like 2013 was when there was a double top in Bitcoin, this chart. So this is 2013. 2017, the last halving, what we saw was an easy just kind of ride up with a correction along the way, but it was just basically straight up and then fell into the bear market. In 2013, we had a huge spike and then fall, and then this kind of sideways trading for a while, and then another explosion up for the double top scenario. And that's what a lot of people think that can happen with Bitcoin, was where we saw this huge run up to, we went from, what was it, like 10,000 or 20,000 at the beginning of the year to 65,000, fell back down to 30, and then now we're getting on this level here. We had those months of pain where it traded sideways, but this top here, then trading a little bit, and then explosion up. And I mean, the explosions get less and less, but definitely I think six-figure Bitcoin is in the playbook. 200,000 is something maybe that is a little out there to try and get for this year. But you do have Max Kaiser, who predicted the last Bitcoin price last year, got it spot on, and he's predicting 220,000. So who knows? The only thing we do know is it's more likely that Bitcoin's going to be worth more in the end of the year than it is now. And we've also got people running on Bitcoin now. Bitcoin is something that it's an issue for people if you're against it. And we see this in this right here. Free Bitcoin. So a mayor of this new U.S. city raising funds to give all residents $1,000 in Bitcoin. So he is the mayor of Cool Valley, and he wants to get people Bitcoin with a little bit of a stipulation. But you see, this is so it'd be 1,500 people, and then what he wants to do is give people a $500 or $1,000. The goal is 1,000, but his biggest caveat with this would be that you don't get to touch it for 5 years. You would have to hold on to this Bitcoin. They would give it to 1,500 people, give them all $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, and then you would have to wait 5 years to touch it. You wouldn't be able to sell it or use it for anything. You would have to just basically stare at it for 5 years, which is probably the best way to do it, to just not even get people temptation. Just know the money's there. You didn't have to put any money in to get this. Technically you did, but you get down a whole nother rabbit hole with that. But you can just have this Bitcoin and make it so that it's there, and you get people involved in Bitcoin. Then you get people thinking about it, checking the price, maybe getting in with their own money, and then seeing what can happen. If they see the $1,000 go to 2,000 and 5,000 and something like that, then they might start to really think about Bitcoin is more than just this magic internet money that people try and say it is, and it's not something that's going away like all the bears want to see happen. And something really good for Bitcoin is this chart right here, which basically shows people, like the Google Trends of Bitcoin, people searching for Bitcoin. And you see this was 2017. The peak got to 100, and now we're seeing it at around 22. And it's actually down from where it was when Bitcoin was at a higher price level. And we're seeing Bitcoin price get to $50,000, that level. That's a huge level, and there's no hype. There's no people, retail investors, Googling Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin, how to buy Bitcoin, all this stuff. It's no hype, which just makes this market even more healthy. There's a lot of talk about the price being a bull trap and all this stuff, but for me, the price it's insanely healthy. It's not something that's pumped up by leverage. It's not pumped up by hype. It's just people that want to be in Bitcoin are getting in Bitcoin, and that's what's causing the price to go up. When you have more demand, the price has to go up, and people aren't using leverage, and there's no hype of like the retail investor wanting to mortgage their house, or that would be a form of leverage to get into Bitcoin and get the insane gains. And we can see that by looking at the longs, looking at the shorts. Shorts have collapsed. We know that they were all over 2,000, and they're up 4% now, but whatever. But longs continue to drop, which is good. That's leverage leaving the system, means the market's healthy. That's how we can tell how much leverage there is. This was over 50,000 at one point. And to finish this video off, I will agree with this tweet here saying, feel bad for everyone who panic sold Bitcoin at $30,000. I know a lot of people who did it, a lot of the traders on social media and everything saying they sold everything at 28K because it was going lower. It was going to 20K. And then they got completely reversed on. Now we're pushing 50K, and they've lost lots of money, and not even to mention they've lost lots of Bitcoin. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. As always, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. See you guys in my next video.